Hello. When Jesus was asked what was the most important commandment, he said to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. He said this because if you love God with all your heart, you will want to obey his laws, not because he said so, but out of love. And if you love your neighbor, you're not going to rob them or slander them or punch them, not because you might get thrown in jail, but out of love. Paul said in Romans 13:10, love does no harm to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfillment of the law. Since love is one of the pillars of Christianity, we need to understand what is love. Now, in the secular world, who do people love the most? Well, they love themselves the most. So how do they act? If they are speeding and get pulled over, they want mercy. They say, please, officer, you must understand. I'm late for work, or I didn't realize I was speeding. I didn't mean to. But if a car whizzes by them, and a little while later they see the same car pulled over by a police officer, they think, good, they're getting what they deserve. In the case of others, they want justice. So what is love? Love is when you treat others the same way you yourself would want to be treated. If you were cold and poor, you would want someone to give you a coat. If you were hungry, you would want someone to feed you. If you were in the wrong but were now sorry, you would want to be shown mercy. Jesus said in Luke chapter 6, verse 31, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We call this the golden rule. Well, what's it about? It's about love. When you treat others the same way you yourself would want to be treated, you are giving them the same love you would give yourself. This also shows how wise the teaching of Jesus was, because this is not a new thought. Many wise men throughout the ages have said something like, don't do to others what you would not want them to do to you. In other words, if you yourself would not want to be punched in the face, then don't punch someone else in the face. A very wise and noble teaching, and what we would call a moral law, or a principle that no matter what part of the world you lived in or what era you lived in, you could see the moral value of it. However, Jesus did something different. He said, do unto others. He turned it around. Why did he say it the opposite way it had been stated in the past? Because Christianity is about active love. You can be indifferent to a person and not punch them in the face. You simply do not care enough about them to put forth the effort. But when we as Christians are commanded to do unto others as we would have them do to us, we are engaging in active love. We must do something, not be passive, not be uncaring, or even indifferent. To the world, love is a feeling. It's an emotion. The music swells and the two lovers embrace in a kiss. Then the credits roll and people's hearts swoon. But to a Christian, love is an action. This is a hard teaching. Active love is one of the most difficult things we are asked to do as Christians, and many of us fail. It is much easier to not do something to a person than it is to actively do something or for someone else, because we would want that same thing done for ourselves if the roles were reversed. So that is the challenge. As Christians, let us be constantly on the lookout for ways to actively show love to our neighbor. Because if all Christians lived by this principle, if all Christians were to actively seek out ways to show love to their neighbor, this would be a much better world to live. I will end with the words of Paul in 1 Corinthians, starting at chapter 13, verse 4. This is what Paul wrote about love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. Love does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered and keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Then he goes on to say this, and now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Have a blessed day.